some of these hands-on programs in a new curriculum. Kofi, what do you make of it?
Well, I think it's a good idea.
This blend of theoretical knowledge and practical skills prepares students to be highly competent and adaptable, boosting their success and the country's overall competitiveness. China's education system excels by combining rigorous academic instruction with practical skills training. Students not only master subjects like math and science, but also gain hands-on experience in areas like stitching, haircutting, and packaging. This blend of theoretical knowledge and practical skills
rich, and not just skills rich, but then labor market skills rich, potentially affording promising careers to our young Africans instead of training them in areas where they are likely to complete school and become unemployed. So I think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Now, if you say it's a good thing, Kofi, would you also say that it's something that Ghana needs to embrace?
That's overly simplistic and too sudden a question to ask. The fact that it's a good thing doesn't mean that Ghana must embrace. But immediately you say Ghana must embrace, then the suggestion is that we haven't embraced it. And so I think that it's too quick in the day for that question to be asked. If I have the luxury of suggesting, would suggest that the teachers on the show will give us an idea about the extent to which our curriculum is already skills rich, or if you like, skills poor, so that on the basis of that, this particular question will be answered. And so, since I'm part of the conversation, if I will create your indulgence to allow the teachers to give us a gist of what we have in our curriculum in terms of such skills, and then the conversation about if there's something that we need to do in addition to that, can happen. Then all of us have an opportunity to learn and shape opinions and perceptions, within the public.
But Kofi, to add on to what I just asked, correct me if I'm wrong though, but isn't that what the introduction of the junior high school and the senior high school was supposed to solve, where the students will go to school and will have these skills on their hands because they'll be trained in that regard?
The old education reform, the 86 education reform, yes, that was built on having a skills-rich basic education system, where junior high schools were going to have workshops for providing skills training to 12 to 15-year-olds, so that after junior secondary school, if they are unable to proceed, they have the basics, to enter the world of work and then progress. But since then, there have been reforms that have refocused our basic education system to reading, writing, arithmetic, and then creative thinking. And so you would not have the same level of prominence, being given to what you just mentioned. But I must indicate that even in the education reform of 86, which proposed the establishment of the junior high schools and then the focus on skills training, you would realize that by the time the 2006 reform started, it was evident that the junior high schools that were constructed, many of them did not have the tools that was the justification, or that was the bedrock of the justification for their establishment. And so we had junior high schools built, but we didn't have adequate tools, to justify their relevance. And so, Ghana, we always go and copy things blindly. We just do it anyhow, and then later we will turn out and blame the same system for not producing results when we ourselves, did not resource the system to work the way the ones who were copying, had been resourced to work. So that's actually okay. It's not a simple matter of establishing junior high schools and giving them workshops. It's not simple because we couldn't do it. We couldn't provide proper workshops for the junior high schools, and then it fed into the decision to review again, and perhaps position it towards more of reading, writing, and problem-solving skills. But here we are again. We have actually concentrated more on skills at the secondary level than at the basic level. At the basic level, some basic skills through a subject called career technology in the junior high schools. It's actually imbibed, but these are concepts. Okay, the emphasis there is about concepts, teaching students basic concepts in design, in entrepreneurship, in health and safety, and all that. So those are concepts. We have decided to focus more on the skills itself at the secondary level, where students have an opportunity of selecting to do TVET or TVET skills programs. The Nigerian example is in a recognition of a peculiar challenge that Nigeria has. If you don't have a free secondary education policy, and you have many of your school of your young ones dropping out after basic school and are not able to transit to secondary school, unlike Ghana, where close to 70%, close to 84% of basic school graduates are able to make it to secondary school. Nigeria is about 60 or so. So if you have a situation where, because you don't have a free secondary education policy, majority or many of your basic school graduates are unable to transit, then the only opportunity available for ensuring that they are skills rich before they truncate on their education is to have hard skills training at the basic level before they complete junior high school. But in our case, we can say that about 84% of junior high school of basic school students are moving to secondary schools, and so perhaps concentrating skills training at the secondary level will be more prudent, because majority of the basic school students will go to secondary school anyway. But if you look at our secondary education curriculum, the skills-oriented programs are not compulsory; they are actually optional, and that's where the challenge is. If they are optional, then it means that people will continue to complete senior high schools, and in a year we are producing 500,000 senior high school graduates. That's where we are. I mean, we have 500,000. So out of 500,000, only about 35% will get into tertiary. So some 300,000 plus will become, they cannot progress to tertiary, and that number to only 12%, are participating in TVET or skills training programs at the secondary level. So it means that a huge number, over 250,000 students, will always struggle to find their way either to enter the job, to enter the world of work, and then seek skills training after secondary school. But then if we had compulsory skills training subjects at the secondary level, perhaps it wouldn't be necessary for someone after completing senior high school to go and do another 1-year course in let's say how to repair mobile phones, because perhaps that person would have chosen one or two skills training programs while they were in school. But what we are doing in Ghana here now is that we are giving you 3 years of free secondary education. The government spends about 8,000 cedis directly on your training, and then when you finish, you will still come and enroll under another state-sponsored apprenticeship program where you will pay about 5,000 cedis or so for your skills training and then your startup. So we are not cost efficient in that sense, and so I think the conversation about Ghana, given the focus of our basic education system on the 4 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, and creativity, should rather be at the secondary level, and how we can make our secondary education system skills rich so that the 300K who are unable to transit to tertiary can have an opportunity of doing something, even though they may not have the resources to subscribe to skills training for secondary, or even though they will not have the resources they will not have the opportunity of benefiting from a government skills training program. So that for me, I think should be the conversation that we must have.
As we have that conversation, Kofi, my last question to you, because I'm told that you have a meeting to attend at exactly 8 o'clock. I ask myself, now, in the initial stages where we're not able to give the resources, to give them the tools to be able to do this, because that was what the plan was initially, is it to suggest that it was beyond us, or we didn't just have the interest to help these young ones get the necessary skills?
Well, in Ghana, when it comes to providing teaching and learning resources, it's more a procurement activity than a true commitment to improving teaching and learning. That's what I've realized in the past 22 years of my integrative policy. And so we rush when we do it, we just do it, we rush and do it without any sometimes strategy behind, the procurement. So, for example, even today, you go to technical, we have about over 200 technical schools, okay? No, let me just start at the basic level because we are talking about a basic level issue. Today in Ghana, we have a subject called computing. Computing is supposed to ensure that every child gets the minimum skills required, to be an ICT literate after completing basic education. For me, it's one of the most important subjects in our basic education curriculum because we are preparing our students for the fourth industrial revolution. But less than 15% of primary schools have functioning computer laboratories in Ghana. Less than 15%. And if you do the analysis, almost all of them are located in urban schools. And so if you do the rural analysis, only about 2% of rural schools or peri-urban schools have access to that. The point I want to make is that in the past, we have go into our books. You see how many times we have procured laptops and desktops and ICT facilities for our basic schools in the past 15 years. You can start from after Honorable Barredu's time to RLG, so many interventions, but you get to the ground and then you don't find anything tangible by way of sustainability outcomes. And so I am of the opinion that the attention wasn't given the JSS concept. It was then JSS concept. Because of the normal Ghanaian attitude of focusing on procurement than the actual commitment to ensure that teaching, learning, and learning outcomes, improve. That has always been our problem. We copy blindly, we implement haphazardly, and we expect to get the same results from where we copy. It doesn't work like that. So it's one thing, deciding to do something which is being done in another country, and another thing, doing it well to achieve the same outcome that they are expecting. On the latter, we have not shown or demonstrated any commitment to succeed in such in copying or doing things the way we see them. And so for me, that's what the challenge is. But I finally want to say that we have always, after Watch, recommended to government that this short-term skills training, and we see a lot of skills training initiatives, mobile phones, POP, Aluko bond, farming, CCTV installation, DSTV repairs, all these short-term market-led skills training initiatives. They are good. They are market-led. They are demand-driven because the market demands them. These are skills that when you acquire, you can make yourself a living. But we have emphasized always and continue to recommend to government, including this current government, that including digital skills, okay, that you don't. It is not economically prudent for you to wait for your students to complete senior high school, and then when they enter into the communities, then you go chasing after them, looking for some of them to train in digital skills, and then you go engage private companies, pay huge amount of money on procurement for them to train them. You understand? It is the most expensive approach in providing basic skills training that every student should have. And so we have always recommended that while the students are in school, after they are working, you can dedicate 2 weeks for them to remain in school for 2 more weeks. And then provide this training for them. If it's in the area of digital skills. If it's how to fix mobile phones, they select the various areas. And then you give them the training when they are in school for 2 weeks. Our students now have tablets that they used to learn in schools. So what tool again do they need to participate? So do the training in school, so that every student, if you are training 500,000 students, if you are training out 500,000 students every year, then you are sure that all the 500,000 students have a skill in at least one of the key market-led areas. If it's not digital jobs, it is maybe in the area of mobile phone assembly, mobile phone repairs. If it's not mobile phone repairs, it's somewhere in the area of maybe beauty and cosmetics, or fashion, or construction, any of these short-term skills. If you do that, you will be training large numbers of people, or the whole cohort will be trained, yet at a very much cheaper price, because they would have been in school and you just bring in experts to come and train them there, than letting them to go to the community, and now you go start chasing after them, doing advert, looking for who needs the training, and then you can't even trace them, you can't even monitor the training, and then it's very expensive because you're using a external consultant, etc., etc. And so this recommendation is always made to government. If we do that, then we can say that as part of our secondary education system, every student is given a 2-week intensive training in digital skills. So we are confident that all our students have the minimum competence to participate in digital jobs, either in Ghana or through business process outsourcing. So that is one thing that we need to consider, how we do such training and how cost efficient the approaches we use are.
Kofi, I'll say a big thank you to you, and I know you have to enter your meeting now because it's past 8, but one of the things you said has caught my attention, Kofi, has to do with the fact that we should train these young ones whilst they are in schools. Instead of allowing them to leave schools, fall on consultants, and then we have to pay money to them and we cannot even monitor what they're doing. In China, for example, and that's one thing that hurts me, when you go onto TikTok and other socials, you realize that the Chinese child, as young as 4 years, is doing some skills training in school. I mean, it could be something IT, it could be something in building, it could be something, so many things. And it's being done in school. So they grow with it. When they are 15 years or 20 years, they have that skill and they can easily do whatever they want to do with it. What do you call it? Tim Cooks, Apple. Yes, Apple, the CEO. He was saying that it's not like the market is cheaper in China when you go to do business there, but because their skills are bound. Give them whatever, they'll do it for you. Here in Ghana, when you go to TikTok, who about Oshiki Chikeneto? But when you see the Chinese videos, and listeners, we'll show you some on our Facebook page this morning, where the Chinese child, as young as 4, is using his or her hands to do some things. We go to the university here, people say they are engineers, and so they can't say, I'll become mechanic. Oil change, the crowd become mechanic. Kofi, thank you very much for your time. And Kofi Asare is, the director, Africa Education Watch. He joined us actually on the phone lines. Now,